Well, we're back on this again. As you can see, it's starting to look pretty nice. We've got nice folds through here. I've kind of uneven made this blanket wrapped around her kind of uneven. You see, you got some little dips in it here and there, and that's kind of helped it out quite a bit. So here I went over to the gallery and I brought this girl over here, and we're going to incorporate a lot of these features that she has, maybe not to the degree that's on this dress, but enough that'll show up here that'll give us some nice color variation and detail to work into our simple little figure here. And also on the bottom, like I mentioned in the last video, we're going to do some detailing down here around here. So you'll have a pretty dark colored blanket up here, and with the tan deerskin leather dress with beading and other detail on it. Okay? So it's going to be a pretty snappy little figure. So, like I mentioned the last time, we're going to do a head, just rough out a head here, so we can get a complete idea, not a complete idea, but almost a complete idea of what she's going to look like. Okay, you can make this out of 2-inch basswood. So this is 2 inches across here. It's just a generic head that, well, you can look at the shape of it. I've been using this thing for years and years and years. I don't believe I should be giving you patterns. The best way to learn something, I'm giving you the pattern right here. You should be able to take a screenshot of this thing, and if you need to copy it, that's good enough. I can only do so much. And to learn how to do these things, if you're that interested, you'll do it. You'll find a way to do it. Okay, so anyway, I had this piece of scrap wood, and it worked out just perfect for what we're going to do here. And I'm going to take it over and cut it out. I listened to that last video I made where I cut the body shape out, and good grief, the noise in that thing. I would have muted it if I was watching that video. But I don't see any reason to show you how I want to cut this out. So here, this is 2 inch across here, and here's my little ruler. Grab my little ruler over here. Someone was kind enough to give me. And this is a 2.5 inch piece of basswood. So I don't think we want 2 inches. We'll just do it 2 inches and see what we come up with, okay? So I'll be right back. Okay, here's my blank. All right, and I measured it, and it came out to 1 3/4 inches across here. I just sight these things. I've done it so long that I can look at something and pretty well tell what I want. So 1 3/4 across here worked out pretty good. But like I say, it's 2 inches here and 1 3/4 here across. All right. Now, the way that I do heads, I find the center, which is right there. Okay. If you look at the top, let me get a piece of paper. That's what we need around here is counterintelligence. Because it seems like I'm getting so old. Every morning I get up, I'm not as smart as I used to be. So anyway, looking at the top of the head, let's just say the top of the head is round, okay? The skull, anyway. And we're going to draw a point on here. Divide the head in half first. Here's your ears. And there's your nose. So that's basically the rough idea of the top of the head. Now if we do that on the block, here we've got our point out here. Well, we don't want to cut that to a point. We want to allow enough wood out there to give us something to play with. So we come over here and we do that. Okay? So that's what we're going to do now, is we're just going to take this down. And this is where you find out how your wood is going to behave. So you see how that flipped off of there? Like that? It's working in our favor over here. Let's see if it does over here. No, it does not. See that? Split right there. So as you're doing this, you've got to take those things into consideration. Well, that's a nice piece of wood. So glad I picked that out of the scrap pile and not something else. Heineke wood is the best wood, oops, too much, best wood you can find as far as I'm concerned. But every piece is going to be just a little different. Not a whole lot of there. See, me going the other way, I don't get the same effect as coming up as I do going down. So I got to be careful there. Now the closer I get to that midpoint, the more it starts acting like this here. And the same in reverse. The closest I get to the midpoint from this side, it'll start acting more like that side over there. Alright, I can see the nose already. So I'm going to switch knives here. And another thing that I do is get rid of saw marks as much as I can. With this figure, I'm not worried so much about carving her ears as I am on a cowboy, because her ears are going to be hidden by her hair. Now on her hair, back here in the back, because she has braids, on Native Americans you have sort of a little bump here on the side of their head where their hair is gathered up. I'm going to get this neck down to such a degree that that's just a start now. It's not going to be the finish. I think that's good enough just to get rid of these ridges across here. Okay, now we're going to drill a hole right here so we can put that head on there, okay? So I will be back. Okay, when I drill holes on the center there, I'll take them all. Where are you? Here somewhere. Maybe there, we're not. It's probably right on the face. And I just can't see it.
Not on the table.
No, well anyway, what I normally do is just take an awl and punch a starter hole right there for my drill. This is an 1/8 inch drill. And I'm going to use it to drill my first hole. Right down to the center. Okay? And then I take a drill a little larger and drill another hole. Kind of wiggle this thing around a bit. And take a larger drill. And drill down. And wiggle it around a little bit more. Now you don't want to start out with a larger drill because you can end up, well, you don't have any control of this tip very well, but you can end up splitting out a lot of this up here, and it's just not going to be nice to straighten out later on. There you see it. It's almost ready to fit, but not quite. So we're going to have to ream it out just a little bit. I'll use this knife for that. And it's just a matter of going back and forth until you get it to where it's supposed to be. We're almost there. Now, I can do that, and you can see the rub marks on this neck. See right there? That's where it hit. So we can start whittling this down a little bit more each time, right in that area. Just get rid of those marks. Till you reach, just about reach the right height. That needs to go down just a little bit more. So there's that mark again. There, that should be fine. One thing I never do is I never get place my figures to where the head is pointed straight forward. I always like to turn it just a little bit because that just adds so much more interest to the piece than someone looking straight at you. You know, looking off in a direction. She sees something out there that's caught her attention. You know, you can look one way, you can look at the other way, but looking straight on, she's looking at you. Well, I'm not saying you're not interesting, but something over there is more interesting than you are, or over there for that matter. So anyway, it just creates interest. All right? Okay, so we got a head going now. So let's get back to this. Now, on her dress, you see she's got a beaded strip running across there, like that. On this dress, the whole top of the dress is beaded. See there? Well, that's pretty, oops, sorry. That's pretty fancy. Remember, this is supposed to be an easy figure. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to carve down the choker here to more closely to her neck. We don't want it too thin, but we want it a lot thinner than it was. Keep our angle nice. We don't want it curved, if at all possible. It's looking good. Okay, now we're going to do something like that figure over there. So we're just going to draw in a beaded strip here, like that. Go straight across. It's just going to peek out a little over here. All right. right. Take my knife, just make a mark right there, and another one right there, and another one right there. That pencil line. I did that, didn't I? Bring those cuts back into the dress so it's nice and even. Tight corners. Get rid of that pencil mark. Now let's work on this choker just a little bit. We're going to relieve it a little bit more to where it shows up nice. Sorry, bouncing this thing all over the place. All right. think Judy's getting tired holding that camera, so I'm just going to show you a couple of things I'm doing here. And then that'll be the end of this video. Cut there, cut there. Cut there, cut there. We're just going to, just work that same thing all the way around and then turn it over and come back and do it the opposite side. Now, as I'm doing this one here, I'm close to this edge here. So if I go and cut this way first, I really run a risk of chipping that old top out. So I'm going to have to remember to carve away from that weakest spot to prevent that from happening. Not so much here because I'm far away from that upper part, but up here I want to make sure I stay away from it. Okay, so we have the two pieces cut. Now we're going to go back and cut out that center. Now on this part right here, it doesn't matter I've cut connecting these two sides so much as we're going to put a medallion like she has right here, up here on this one. So it's okay to connect them, but if you got a little bitty space between the two, that's all right. Now we'll come back and just make a cut here. Take out a little chip there. And then round off the top. There you can see the detail. Okay. So we're getting there. So I think that's going to do it for this video. The next time we come back, we've got her head on, but we're not ready to do that head yet. What we'll do next time is I think we're going to do a sort of a detail like this across the front of her dress. Put a sure what they call this, but put that on there. And then we'll put some elk's teeth on the front of her dress, which will make her look real snazzy. But we're not going to drill those holes. We're going to Dremel them, and I'll show you why next time. Okay? So until then, I'll talk to you later.